Adding availability to your calendar is the final step in making yourself live and bookable by practices. To be ready for this step, you have already set the sessions you want to work and the practice you want to get booked by. We cover those earlier steps in our setup guide on getting booked by practices. From here, to start showing your availability, first add your availability settings. There are 3 required fields at the top. How many days notice do you need for a booking? The minimum notice is 1 day for practical reasons. So setting this to 1 day means you could get a booking tomorrow, 2 days the day after, and so on. Then you are asked about the number of minutes you are prepared to travel between practices for on-site work. So take the scenario that you're available all day. You get a booking in one of your practices in the morning. Locum Deck then takes into account the travel limit you set here in determining which of your practices is able to book you for your remaining availability that day. If you only want to work in one practice a day, then set the travel time to 0 minutes. Then it will only be possible for one practice to book you for that day. Similarly, you're asked about the number of minutes break you would like between sessions, and this is about downtime that is in addition to your travel time. The other items on this are optional. Maximum weekly booking limits are useful if you're flexible about when you can work and are potentially available all week but don't want to get overbooked. You can set the number of days and sessions a week you want to work, and it even lets you set whether your work will be on consecutive days or not. Adding standard availability is really useful if you have regular work patterns. It's a quick way of bulk managing your standard availability. So you add the start date you want your availability to begin, and an end date, or choose if you want the calendar to keep updating on a rolling basis. Then tick to select the days and times of your regular availability. Note that these columns, morning, afternoon, etc. are referring to the session types you created in your settings. So when you set Monday morning, it will show up morning type sessions that you've selected to work in your bookable practices. Finally, there's a note that if you want to add varying availability, you can add ad hoc slots of availability directly to the calendar, and I'll show you that in a minute. When you're happy, click Save, and this message advises you that everything is in place for you to switch on Show Me as available for booking. And this is the master switch that finally unlocks your calendar. If you added some availability in settings, it now gets bulk added to the calendar. And this is what live availability looks like on your calendar. The number indicates the number of practices that can book you. Click to open and you see which practices can book you. And click Practice View to see what the practice can book you for. And you can see all the results of your hard work in getting set up for Instant Book. All that information you added, your specific terms for this practice, where you're claiming pension, optional travel visit charges, carrying out these duties, it's all there. Plus any special notes you added to the practice, your profile with all your credentials, and your personalised high-level terms and conditions. It's all brought together and shown in the bookable availability that you're now offering to practices. On the practice side, the only difference is they have a book button here, and that's how they can instant book you for the work that you've chosen to do under the terms that you've set. If you didn't add standard availability, then when you click the master switch up here, your calendar won't show anything and you're not bookable yet. So don't worry, it's very simple to add varying availability directly to your calendar. Click on a date, select Add Availability, and this is designed to give you finer control over the timing and who you're offering availability to. So unlike standard availability, you set precise times, and you have the choice of whether you're booked by one practice or all of your practices. Bear in mind that you will only be bookable by practices that have session start and finish times that fit inside this time slot. To illustrate, if I move the start times of this slot to start at 9:05, it alerts me that I'm not going to be bookable, and that's because all my bookable sessions start at 9 a.m. I'll change that back and let's add that availability. And when you open any availability, you can see which practices can't book you, and these tooltips tell you why you're not bookable. And if you want to be bookable and something needs to be adjusted in the practice, You can click through to the practice record to fix it, check the sessions are ticked, and then make sure the Book Me switch is on, and that will then make you bookable by that practice.